Good morning. Had a good night's sleep last night. Everybody woke up this morning ready to roll. Inside of all the tents were very wet because where we tented was kind of a, well, it wasn't a marsh, but it's definitely a low area that kind of retains some moisture way down deep in it. You could sort of tell that it was a little bit barely damp last night. So anyway, no big deal, just had to dry off the inside of the tents a little bit. And we're going about 3.5 miles to get some water this morning. And then we'll have to carry water at that point for most of the rest of the day. We're gonna try our best to get about almost 18 miles today, but might not quite happen. You get to see what we've been experiencing a lot of. Blowdown after blowdown after blowdown that has not been cleaned up. And that's what makes it fun. Well, from the first moment that we got into our tents last night, we started hearing this trumpeting kind of sound, bugling sound. It was obviously an animal, or animals, and nobody really knew what it was or knows what it was for sure. Mostly it was off of quite a bit in the distance, but every once in a while it sounds super close. And so, I don't know, Curly said he thinks it's a werewolf. Mo said an elephant. Tiger Lily is the only one that had a real guess. She thinks maybe it was male elk or something. Anyway, I'm sure somebody out there knows definitively, but we didn't have any idea what it was, so don't know if we'll hear more of that tonight or not. But it was very interesting. Not something I've ever heard before. Well, we haven't climbed very high, but we're really smelling the smoke now, for sure. So, I don't know if it'll get better or worse today. Beautiful, huh? That's the lake that was down from our tent site that we could have stopped and gotten water at last night, but we chose not to walk down to it. Well, this hasn't happened before, but I was walking along with everybody in a line, and I think I was second, kind of in the second spot in line. And we're just hiking along, and all of a sudden I felt a pain in my ankle. I looked down, there's a hornet stinging me through my sock. For no reason that I can figure out. I didn't accidentally hit it, I didn't catch it, I didn't anything. Anyway, I just smacked it as hard as I could. Ugh. And, you know, I guess killed it, I don't know, but I'll tell you, my ankle was on fire for a few minutes. But I kind of thought it might stick around for a while, you know, like a bee sting or a scorpion sting or something. But it was only 5 minutes or so, and the pain sort of abated, and yeah, I can hardly even tell now. If I touch it, it's a little sore, but nothing much, so that's good. I'm glad I don't react poorly to hornet stings, apparently. Lots of blowdowns in this section. Some of them have little impromptu built around trails to help you avoid all of the blowdowns that happen to be in a row and get back to the main trail. This one, you can look at all that mess in there. It's filled. So somebody's built this little trail. It's not much of a trail. They've just plowed through and figured out a way to get you back to the main trail without quite as much mess as you would have to go through otherwise. Still a lot of mess. And here's some more. Ugh. All right. Oh, good, easy one. Well, this one barely counts. Whoop. Uh, okay, that one was hard to do one-handed. Intermission. Intermission's over. Well, I found a great little spot here to have lunch. I'll try my best not to show you my teeth since I just ate. Yeah, you know, under this nice tree here that's providing shade from the sun up there. Got my pad here sitting on, my backpack I'm leaning against, nice cool breeze coming through, you can see. And let's see, I had my lunch of barbecue potato chips and a 6-ounce little pouch of chili con carne. It fit the bill. High fat, high carbs, high protein, lots of calories. And usually at lunch I also start hydrating my dinner. So I've got these noodles hydrating for later. And I usually get in my lunch bag here and get out whatever I need to eat for the rest of the day to get me to dinner. So I've got a bag of cashews, which I cannot eat all of. I need to save some of them for tomorrow. But only have one Ziploc, so keeping them all in the same bag. Got a package of peanut butter crackers. They're pretty good, you know. They have some whole grain in them and protein, and they're not really a bar of some kind would be better. Would have more fat, more protein, all of that. But I love these things, so I usually will try to have maybe one a day or one every other day. Just make me feel good. And then some lemon coconut bar, which does have all the fat and carbs and calories and everything I need. I have not tried one yet. I found it at a store that didn't have hardly any good resupply, and they kind of look good. So hopefully it's going to be delicious. And now, oh, I mixed up a little electrolyte drink because it's getting close to 90 degrees now. I've been sweating a bit today. And I'm just going to sit here and chill. I think Tiger Lily and the guys are, people stopped at some different places along the way to take breaks and eat and stuff like that. And I've stopped here, so I imagine somebody's going to probably come along soon. We'll get back at it. It's been pretty hot today. It's gotten up to about 95. And we've been climbing for quite a while, a little over 700 feet, so I'm a bit tired, but the sun's kind of gone behind the clouds for a few seconds. I wanted to jump on here and say that we are just a few tenths of a mile back. We crossed the 1,798 mile marker on the PCT. Isn't that exciting? Oh wait, you don't know what that means, so let me explain. The reason it's exciting to me is because in California, before we had to bump up here to Oregon, we did 930 miles. And then when we jumped up here, you add to that what we've done so far since we came up to Ashland and started hiking. And that puts our total just a few tenths of a mile back at 1,008 miles so far this year on the PCT. So the reason that matters, the reason that's exciting, is because it's the longest backpacking trip that I've ever done. So I've done 223 miles on the Ouachita Trail, and I've done a few hundred miles at a time on the AT the first year, and then 800 miles the second year, and then the last year when I finished the AT, I did 1,008 miles. So now, as I've been talking, I've crossed the line into 1,009 miles, into mile 1,799, which means 1,009 total miles this year. So this is the longest hike I've ever done, and yeah, still going strong. Excited to add to that, but it's kind of cool. You know, I'm thinking back to that long hike my last year on the AT, and you know, thinking, wow, okay, I summited Katahdin right now, and started heading down to the parking lot to go home and be done with that trail, you know. And here I am with many, many more miles to go, not even close to halfway. So, wahoo! I think the last major mile marker that we crossed was 1,100 in California. And then we were getting pretty close to 1,200 when we had to bump up for the fires. And when we started around Ashland in Oregon, we started just right above 1,700 miles, the 1,700 mile mark. So we are just now coming to 1,800 mile mark, and there it is. Woohoo! And another one. And another one. Good morning. It's a bit smoky. Hey, we're rolling this morning. Haven't gone very far, a few hundred feet. Already stepped over 2 blowdown trees. We heard from somebody that was going southbound yesterday that there are lots of blowdowns up ahead, so I think it's going to be just like yesterday was, where, you know, we're just going slow and stepping over trees constantly. And it is supposed to be just slightly cooler today, but not enough. It's probably gonna make that much difference. Smelled smoke a decent amount last night. Could see it off in the distance, and in the fill in the valley and everything. So that's got me a little congested again today. But I guess I can't say that every single day, or it's gonna get boring. But that's probably just the reality every single day now. We are. The plan is we're supposed to get picked up tomorrow around noon out at Highway 62, which is kind of the south edge of Crater Lake. And so we don't have that many miles. We have like 21 miles to do by tomorrow at noon. So the plan really today is just go slow in the heat and just take our time getting over all these trees. Probably only do 14 to 16 miles today. That'll give us just a few miles to do tomorrow. Shouldn't be too big a deal. And then I gotta figure out how to get around Crater Lake all the way up to Shelter Cove and jump on. I'm not gonna stop and resupply or do anything. I've got all that stuff already. And so yeah, tomorrow I'll just be hopefully on the north side of the fire, probably with a lot of smoke, because obviously, because the winds are blowing north. So I'll probably be hiking for a few days in quite a bit of smoke, but safe from the fires, and just heading all the way up north to the border. So hopefully just no more fires, no more fires. You can see all the smoke in the air. This has been the first time since we walked into Fish Lake that we've been able to smell smoke, and like good, like pretty much all the time now, this whole day so far. So I don't know, hopefully it'll clear up a little as we get it moving along further. Well, this is all from a fire that's maybe 10 plus years ago, and the current fires are far away, so no worries right now. But boy, the smoke from all these fires is just starting to creep closer and closer, or we're probably hiking closer towards it. So we'll still have another, I'm trying to think, maybe 12 miles to the Crater Lake area, which we won't get to until tomorrow. But of course there are big fires up there, so we are definitely walking towards the smoke. Unfortunately, this is pretty much what the entire day has been. This whole area was scorched many years ago, and it's recovering slowly as it does. But I think it's going to be like this almost all the way to the highway that's south of Crater Lake, where I'm gonna, get off and shuttle forward because of another fire that's going on currently. So anyway, we're gonna do another 4 miles and find that's where some tent sites start popping up, and then a bunch of the tent sites are in stuff like this. So we're gonna just skip ahead and keep going until we find a good one. There are a couple of them that say that they're in some live tree areas and things like that. So yeah, we'll be out another 2 or 3 hours, and then we'll probably find a good place to tent for the night. Not in this. Good morning. Got the sky filled with clouds. Even got just a few sprinkles last night, just for a minute or two. So hopefully gonna get a little bit of rain today. Help these fires out. Get rid of these fires. And I've got about 7.5 miles to get to the south part of Crater Lake. Everybody's gonna get picked up, but I'm gonna continue on, so I'll talk more about that later. Well, this is about maybe the third blowdown for today. Obviously a couple of days ago I recorded a bunch of the blowdowns, not even remotely close to all of them. Yesterday I didn't record any, but Mo, who's hiking with us, counted them. And he counted 328 yesterday. That's way too many trees to be crawling over. Well, it's raining up ahead in the mountains. I hope that's where the fires are at. Wouldn't that be amazingly wonderful? Well, we're still quite a few miles away from the highway even, but apparently this is the boundary, and we are entering Crater Lake National Park. Well, it's raining a little bit more than it was before. Not tons, but enough to get you wet now. And the forest has come back, as you can see back there. We left the burn zone shortly after we entered the national park, or about then. You know, I don't know if they have, more resources to keep the undergrowth area, cleaner, or if they just can get in and fight the fire better here, or, whatever. But it's beautiful in here. It's wonderful to end this day this way, or end this section this way. I was really hoping that we weren't just going to hike that big burn all the way into the highway. So we've got another maybe 2.5 miles to go, and then we're going to come to the highway, and Susan's going to pick us up, and I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do. That's why I'm stammering about it. I don't know if we're going to hang around at Crater area for a while, or if everybody's going to just take off right away. I don't know if I'm going to need to find a way to shuttle around. I think there is somebody that if you want to wait for a day, they'll shuttle you up for some cost up to the Shelter Cove area past the fires. Or if these guys will have time to maybe take me up there, we'll see. I know that we talked about that, but I certainly don't expect them to do that. I think it's probably going to be maybe more than a 2-hour drive to get me where I need to be, so that's pretty far out of the way for them, so I'm not expecting that. But we'll just have to see what happens. It's been really nice hanging out with everybody. Nice to see you again, Susan, and nice to hike with, Curly, Rebel, Mo. You guys are a lot of fun, and Tiger Lily's lucky to have you as friends. So we'll see what happens. I'll let you know when I get back on the trail, hopefully later today. Okay, so lots to say. We got picked up at Highway 62 south of Crater Lake, and we all went up to Crater Lake just to take a look at it, even though you can't hike all the way through there on the trail. It's closed and everything. But we got to get a ride up there. So we drove up, we all checked it out. Susan got us, and then Rebel and Curly, Mo, Tiger Lily, myself. We all hung out up there. We looked at the lake, had something to eat. Then they were so kind. They're all heading home. They were so kind to drive me at least 1.5 hours out of the way, all the way past the fires, up to Highway 58 near Odell Lake. It's called Willamette Pass, and of course still in Oregon, and just dropped me off, and I'm heading north now. They're all heading back home or various places. So what a pleasure, what an honor really it was to hike with all of them. Of course, those are all Tiger Lily's hiking partners, her tramley, so to be, from the Appalachian Trail. And they were all just really accepting and fun and just super nice. So that was great. And I really appreciate all of you. And then, kind of a surprise piece of news. Tiger Lily, she decided a couple of days ago since her friends were coming out anyway, and some of them were going to be flying home, she was going to get off the trail. And so she is now off the trail, and she's going to go home and be with family. And so I'm heading on. So these posts coming up will just be me out here. And, you know, we'll see what that means. Things obviously are going to be different. You know, maybe the schedule will be different. Maybe how much I hike, or when I hike, or, you know, where I stop and how much I stop. I imagine all those things will be affected because, you know, of course, we were doing things, you know, kind of obviously compromising on things, and then stopping places, you know, for fun together and stuff like that. I probably will just be more focused on, you know, just hiking miles now that I'm by myself, and, you know, maybe less of getting off places to do things, because, you know, there's less purpose in doing them by myself or whatever. So I know I'm kind of rambling, but, you know, I'm not really sure how it'll be different. But anyway, I'm trucking along, and this day has been amazing. It's been clouds, it's kept it cool, just this little bit of mist kind of all day long, with, you know, sometimes you barely feel it, sometimes it turns into a little bit of rain. I got up here north of the fires. I fully expected the wind to have this whole area smoky, but I'm not sure I can smell a bit of smoke, so this is great. I'm just going to head north as fast as I can, try to outrun the smoke in case it picks up. Looked at the weather, looks like it might be in the mid-60s for like the next 5 or 6 days. So wow, hoping that adds on to allowing me to, you know, do lots of miles. So, all right, I'm talking too much. I'm gonna go, and I'll let you know what happens later on in the day. Well, I haven't climbed very long, but definitely smelling smoke now. So once I got up out of the pass, it's up here, but not horrible, but like it's been the last couple of days. And also, I was just mentioning yesterday how we'd gotten into these areas the last couple of days. Well, of course, or it's been burned, but other than that, even where we didn't see this hanging moss anymore. But here we are, and it's everywhere. And it kind of looks like it's killing all these trees, you know? I don't know if it really is or not. Kind of makes for an amazing kind of look and view through here. But it doesn't seem like it's probably very good. This is the first of the Rosary Lakes. Almost reminds me of the lakes in the Sierra. Really clear, you can see logs and things underneath. Beautiful. There's 3 Rosary Lakes, and after these lakes, the next water is around 6 miles. So when I get to the 3rd one, if I have much less than a liter, I'll probably stop and get water at that lake. If not, I'll cruise on. So nice and cool, even though I'm moving fast and sweating a little bit. I don't think I need very much water, so I probably will not stop at these. Wow, beautiful out here though.
Oh.
I've only been on the trail now for about an hour and a half, and I found Joelle.
I am so happy to see you.
Me too. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll see
We
each
are
other
going
lots.
to win Canada.
Yes, Canada.
Canada.
I can't believe I saw Joelle back there. I can't remember what I've said in these videos, but just to make it quick, met Joelle on the shuttle from Sierra City, California up to Ashland, and then we hiked that first night into Oregon together, and then and tented there, same place that night. Then a few days later, saw him again on the trail, and then our friends came in to hike with us, and he just went way on ahead. But I guess because he took a short time off. And then when he got up to Crater Lake, he actually hiked the whole rim trail, which I did not hike. You know, since there's fires and stuff, I just figured, I mean, I couldn't do the section north of the rim trail, so I figured when I come back, I'll just hike the whole thing at once if possible. So anyway, as a result though, I managed to catch up to him today. So there he was, and he's obviously French and such a happy guy. He doesn't have a trail name. His real name is Joel. I told him his trail name needs to be Too Happy. He's just the happiest guy. I think he's 76. The dude's hiking like crazy. I don't know. You know, I'm 50, almost 55. He's hiking the same as I'm hiking every day. So, but he's a good guy. And I don't think he knows tons of people out here. And so he's really happy, you know, whenever he sees me too, because there's somebody that connects with him and also somebody that's, you know, older than 20. And so anyway, we'll see if we keep crossing paths. Here's the second of the Rosary Lakes. And here's the third and final Rosary Lake. Beautiful as well. Much smaller. It's only been a mile since the first one, so I'm just going to keep on trucking here. I'll get some water later. Another few miles. As you can see, it's still lightly sprinkling, like it's been doing off and on all day. Wonderful. I'm loving it. Well, since I just got dropped off at a pass right there on the highway, as is often the case, there's a lot of people around here, and there's actually some kind of race going on today. So I'm seeing lots of people run towards me, past me. Wow, I just reached the top of the climb. Big climb for the day. I head down, get some water. A couple, about 4 or 5 miles. Wow, what a beautiful sight. Okay. Time to head down the other side. I don't know if you can see it all behind me, but I'm walking through the woods, like I've said before a couple of times, thinking I'm in the middle of nowhere. All of a sudden I hear this whooping and hollering, cowbells and whatever. And I get up there and there's what appears to be like trail magic. They have watermelon and Oreos and they let me have some. And I said, well, what's this all about? And they said there's an ultra marathon going on. So that's what these runners that were coming by were about. There's several different races, you know. I think there's a 5K and a 10K and a 50K or more. Anyway, these guys had already done almost 50K. They've been running since 4 in the morning. Some of them that are coming at me just right now. And when they get to that point, get a couple of snacks, then they had to go 2,000 feet straight up this mountain that's off to the side, off that way, which I'm not going up. And I think that maybe that was the finish. So anyway, that was totally awesome that they let me have a little bit of snack. I didn't take very much. I've had so much to eat today. I had a big pulled pork sandwich at the Crater Lake, and coleslaw, and I maybe already said this earlier, but then big Powerade, and you know, anyway. So I just had a little tiny bit and took off. Really super nice people. You're awesome. Well, this marathon is very entertaining. You know, most people run by and just say, hey, or how you doing? A couple of them just ignore me entirely. One of them yelled at me, how far is the next guy? How far? One girl just stopped and said, this is a dumb question, but am I going north or south? So anyway, how are you? And there's another one. So anyway, yeah, keep me entertained. Give me something to do. This first afternoon on the trail by myself. I'm betting that I don't run across any other ultra marathons across the PCT, but you never know. All right, lots of mosquitoes, but other than that, this is going to make a great tent site tonight. What a beautiful kind of sunset. Not really going to be able to see an actual sunset, but gorgeous out there. The only thing is I was hoping to get a cell signal because I realized that my bag that I collect water in and filter it out of has sprung a tiny little leak. And that's really not a huge deal. It'll be fine for a little while, but I'd love to order one and get it sent somewhere that I'm going to be in a week and a half or so before it becomes a bigger problem. But I'll just have to do that tomorrow somewhere or whenever I get a cell signal again. Okay, time to get set up. Pew.